Alright, so the video cut off, so carrying on here. Once you take out this bolt, okay, which I used an impact gun. I have a very powerful impact gun that I set to the 2 setting, and I just lightly hit it until it came out, and it broke it loose. And then once it broke it loose, I went ahead and used a hand wrench to remove it the rest of the way. That screw holds in the drive shaft for the U-joint assembly. Okay, so you can see it's a spined area there. Okay, so once that you get that bolt out, just get like a wood dowel or some rubber like rod or something, so you don't damage the splines, and just whack it out and kind of tap it out lightly so that it breaks loose from the bearing carrier assembly here. Okay, which it'll look like this. So once it's out, okay, I don't have to worry about this anymore. This part, we're gonna, other than replacing the 2 O-rings here, when we go to reinstall the outdrive, that's all we're gonna do with this. But when you get back to the bearing carrier here, you're gonna have a clip. Okay, you're gonna have a clip like this, and the clip goes around in this little slot right here. Okay, so you take out that clip, and then you go ahead and you're gonna have your seal behind that clip in here like this. Okay. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get some kind of bearing puller. It's a 1.5 inch. Okay, so the inner diameter of it is going to be 1.5 inches, or 1 3/4 inches. Correction, 1 3/4 inches, as you can see. So you're going to need a bearing puller that has at least a little over that to get in there to cup the inside of it so you can pull it out. Okay. I looked around, I couldn't find one that at the time to get that job done. So what I did is I got a chisel, and I chiseled away at the inside of the seal here to kind of weaken the metal material that makes up the seal. And then I was able to get the chisel in here and just hit it out a little bit. Okay, you have to be very careful because keep in mind this is aluminum. Okay, this is not steel, so don't be trying to torque on this thing, because you're going to damage it or gall it up, and it's going to be useless, and you're going to have to get yourself a new one. As anybody that owns Volvo Penta stuff knows, that Volvo Penta is not cheap. So anyway, get yourself a chisel and just be careful with that if you're going to do it that way. I do not recommend doing it that way, but if you are in a pinch like I was and you got to get this done, you can go ahead and do it that way. Obviously, I did it that way. I was very careful, very cautious, and I didn't damage any of the portion of the inside of it where it actually seals. Okay. So the seal, it's going to have a spring on the inside and the outside. Okay. So as you can see, there's the outside one and there's the inside one. Okay. The seal goes in like this. Okay. So the seal will go in like this. Don't put it in like this. Okay. So all you gotta do is you order your part, your Volvo Penta part, which I did. Okay, so I've got a brand new seal here. You want to lube it up, obviously. Okay, put some oil on it, some gear oil, get it all lubed up, and you'll want to press it into the bearing carrier assembly. Okay, after you press it in, you're gonna want to go ahead and put the clip on, this clip. Okay, and clip it back in. Make sure that clip's secure into the channel. Okay. Once that's done, your seal's installed and you're good there, then you're going to want to tip this thing over. Alright, you're going to want to go ahead and put the shaft into the carrier. Okay, put it all the way through until it comes up here, and it will be flush, almost flush. And then you can use this, put the bolt back in, reinstall the bolt. I'm not going to give torque specs on it because the torque specs that I was looking up, I gotta do a little bit more research to see exactly what the torque specs are. It didn't have it in this manual that I could find. It had very basic information that I pretty much already knew. So obviously it's not in there, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research to check out the torque specs. But make sure that you torque this thing down to whatever's recommended, or maybe even put some blue Loctite on this, because you got to keep in mind that if this bolt comes loose while you're running your gear, it's going to shred your gears. Okay, because your gear, you've got a gear up here and a gear down here. So if this falls down in there, comes loose, you're going to have some major issues. Okay, so you want to make sure that this bolt doesn't come out. Okay, But anyway, once you get that screwed in there and all that, you'll go ahead and you'll just reinstall the the carrier into the upper unit right here. Okay. When you do that, you'll notice there's a little hole right there. Okay. There's only one way to put it in, and there's a hole in the bottom of this carrier, as you can see there. Okay. That's for the oil. Okay. So make sure that you install it accordingly. Okay. So you don't install upside. I don't think you can even install it upside down, but make sure you have the holes lined up there. Okay. Other than that, pretty simple job. I mean, pretty much anybody with some little mechanical skills can probably get this thing done. Don't forget to replace this seal or this O-ring right here that goes around here. All right. I got mine from Leaders RPM. They're I mean, this is a Volvo Penta part, but it's going to be part number 967344. And then for the seal again, that's going to be part number 3852272. Okay. So once you get that all done, you'll go ahead and you'll put that back in. There are some shims, okay? Some shim material, which is right here. Okay, so this is the shim material that you're going to want to put in. This shim material goes between this portion of the bearing carrier and the upper unit of the outdrive, and it spaces it out so that the gears mesh in there properly. Okay, so make sure that if you damage this, okay, if it ends up getting damaged kind of like this, that you go ahead and replace it with the appropriate shims, okay, that you can order, and then you'll be good to go. But that's it. It's pretty straightforward job. It's just replacing that seal, but like again, you'll notice it if you've got this issue. If you go in here and you can see the oil that's in your bellows there for your drive shaft assembly. Okay, they had a little bit of oil there. I think it's, yep, see, it's still in there. So it obviously was leaking. I had a little bit more. That was a dead giveaway that's what was going on. So just something to be mindful of. In my manual it said you had to take this out, which is false. You didn't have to take this out at all. Okay, so don't worry about taking that out. You can just pop out the screws, rubber mallet, and you can get the whole thing out. Okay. I hope this helps somebody, and that's going to be it. This is going to be for an SXM outdrive single prop. It'll probably work the same on a dual prop too, but don't quote me on that. All right. Anyway, have a good day and happy boating.